Hello and welcome to Anything Goes. I hope everyone's doing all right out there tonight. As you can see, no Jason. He's abandoned me again. Well, he hasn't abandoned me. He's just probably found something better to do. But joining me, some of you might know him. I think everybody will know him. But it's Kerry Arnold from Bigfoot Odyssey. How are you?
I'm all right. Not bad. I was actually on the phone with Ed. Cork for Brains is in here now.
Oh,
And yeah, we were chatting and your message came across. I said, "Uh-oh, emergency. Daniela needs me." So here I was at 7 minutes ago. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't think with the amount of internet I've got here that I would get together this quick. Can you hear me okay?
It's really good.
Okay, good.
All right. Sounds really, really good. So is Cork for Brains someone who's going on the expedition?
No, he's not. But he was kind enough to make a very generous contribution. He had offered a parabolic dish.
Oh, right. Cool.
And we had one already. I was like, if you want to get us something, we need coolers. So he got us 2 Yeti 65 quart coolers, like $700 worth of stuff. Wow. So yeah, very generous dude. Thank you for that, Ed, very much. Oh, and 2 batteries for the gimbal. I bought a gimbal for the camera so I could shoot these guys without the camera bouncing all over and everyone getting drunk. So and I forgot to get backup batteries for it. So he actually bought 2 of those also. So
all right. What gimbals have you got?
I've got a it's a Movo Aircross 2.
Oh, right. Not the handheld ones. For the drone, is it?
No. It's for the filming camera.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's you hold it like a fishing rod. You put it in your belt.
Oh, yeah. I got this one, which is the DJI, and they're fantastic. I mean, it's probably a smaller version.
Yeah, the one I got's big. It holds 7 pounds. So because I had to put that big camera on it, so it was. But I needed 2 more batteries for it, and it just holds everything steady, as you can see. And DJI makes a really good one. But I got the Movo Aircross 2. It's I don't know. I got there's 24 boxes sitting at home.
Wow.
To open for this. Linda's like, do I have to come home anymore for the UPS guy? Well, I'm worried somebody's gonna grab it off the porch, So she comes home every day and puts the boxes up. So I got a lot to do when I get home soon, very soon. We're leaving very soon.
Thank you, Zach. Very generous. Oh, he's in green. He's a member. He's part of the Hidden Existence family. So that's good to know. Thanks, Zach. It's amazing people's generosity, isn't it? You won't believe it. And some people have been very generous to me as well while I've been doing all this. And it just sort of like blows me away that, and they just want to do it. It's just who they are. And
I'll say this, in the beginning, we used to tell people no. And I was just talking to Russell about this earlier. I was like, and it was explained to me, said, it's not about you. It's about them. You're not asking for this. These people want to do this. And you're kind of stepping on their karma a little bit by saying no. So I just learned to accept the kindness and say thank you and let them get theirs for it. So,
because it's not a normal thing, really, is it? For people?
No, it's unusual.
It is a little bit hard to. So I'm just reading this. I like some videos where someone tied a string to a shotgun trigger, blunt round to a box. Oh, I think this is about your parcels.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to hurt anybody.
No,
there's no telling why. They did take a package off our porch, and it was the silverware we had gotten for our daughter for her wedding, and it was some glasses that Linda had ordered, and I think it was somebody following the delivery guy, for the post office, mail person, and so I got all this other stuff coming in, and I'm not there to put it up, so Linda's not going to do it. So I'll have to do that when I get there. But I did get some cameras and a laser thing that you got to breach. It sets off a loud alarm. I might put machine gun fire to it. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? Electric fence, electric kind of thing. Oh, landmines. I did watch a funny one once where they'd this girl, I think that it was a man and woman, he pulls up, she runs out, grabs this box, turns around, starts running back to the car, and she slips. I think she breaks her foot or her ankle. It's like, it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's like, that's karma. You know, you do something like that, expect to, you know, something to happen. Bobby, thank you so much. Very generous, Bobby Yunts. Zach must be loaded tonight. Are you?
Telling you.
Is it must be on commission or something I haven't agreed about yet, but it's all good. So, where are you at in your head with this expedition? I mean, feels like you're a bit more laid back this time.
Oh, I wish.
And I don't mean that in a like you don't care. I mean, like, you seem a little bit more grounded, because I think there was a lot of momentum last year. There was a lot of excitement, and, you know, there was kind of, and then that big disappointment. I feel like you're more grounded with it this time. All of you, you know, the kind of vibe I'm getting.
It's like, right, for me, Christopher Noel said it, I'm herding chickens. And it's not the team itself. It's the logistics of 18 people at this point, because I added a lot more filming crew. I realized really quick that 2 people were not going to be able to do what, because we were just going to tag team, you know, one after the other. And it's just, there's no way. There's just no way to do it. And the way we're going to do this, we've got backups for backups. We've got 3 medical team going. So we've added a lot to it. It's going to be a lot more dynamic, a lot more filming equipment. There are 2 movie cameras now instead of just 1. And then the cameras and the equipment they're going to use. We've got more thermals. We still have the thermal drone. But it's going over scenarios is one part. And then, of course, having everything that I had to order sitting at home and me not able to get, you know, familiar with it. I'm trying to do as much as I can. And then, you know, it's slowly approaching. So there's some anxiety about it. There is. This is not, I've said this before, I don't really want to do it. I don't really want to do this. I want to make a good film for everybody first. That's what I'm concerned with. And I'm really trying to let the team leaders, Mark Newbill, Clay Campbell, handle the field stuff as much as possible. Of course, I mean, I need to know what they're doing, obviously, so I can plan around it. But it's a lot more of internal struggle in my head. I really, that's why I had such a good time talking to Ed, because we talk about other stuff, you know, and then anybody else I talk to, the team members, it's all about the expedition and what's coming up. And what we're attempting to do is, I mean, we're trying to pull off a miracle, I think, essentially. And if we don't happen to do it, I still want it to be, you know, a good film. We're going to get evidence. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The parabolic dishes that we've got, actually, Chad Datama from Lost Cryptids is bringing another one that Robert Kreider built. And yeah, so we're going to be able to have one out with the teams, and we're going to have to be able to set one out static to just listen. And I've got the big 40,000 milliamp hour battery banks. I got like 8 of those, bunch of 30,000, bunch of battery banks that you set out with it, so you can run things for a long time. 256 gig SD cards, 128 gig, and I spent over $2,000 just on SD cards again this time, just because we've got so much more equipment. But I wanted everything to be shot on the same medium. So it's the Extreme Gold Class C3 U10, I think not U3 C10, 250 megabyte rewritable discs. So this the best I could get for the money, the budget that we had, and it's a lot better this time in the aspect that we're a little bit more prepared and a little bit more planned. A lot of the same guys are going. A lot of new people, females, 2 females going this time. Actually 3, but Clay's girlfriend Simone is going to be cooking. So, and that's another plus for us, is we don't have to worry about coming in and cooking meals and feeding ourselves. Guys can rest properly. because down there, 3 days in of the amount of work that's going to go into this, people are going to be burnt out and worn out, and it's just going to be work doing it all. And I hold no illusions about being successful in this. I think we've got a good chance. We're going to go in with the mindset that we can accomplish this. If we're given the situation, the opportunity to go in, and one is there, we're going to do that. I've got Brandon Shoma possibly not going to be able to make it because his father passed away, and then his great uncle passed away the same day. I'd like to see him go just to get away from that, but no one blames him for not being able to go. No. So I'm interviewing his replacement at the moment. So it's a lot every day going on just to put this together logistically. We got lucky. I think we got David Dominique. He's a retired federal agent. He's with Lost Cryptids. Is bringing a lot of the equipment that we're going to need to save all the footage, and just thinking about how we're going to label everything and save this day's, this camera, this person was using it, just so I can go through when it comes down to editing, I'll have good files to choose from, who did what and where. And I've decided to shoot it a little bit differently than I was planning before. It's going to be more like reality TV, I guess, the way we're going to do it now. Not that that's a bad thing, because all I've done for the last year is study filming and angles and why you do certain things. And I watch TV completely different, I guess, than anybody else does. I can't get into the show for watching from the perspective of the cameraman, but just being able to do that and having to get people together, because I'm not the only one that's going to have to do this. I've got 4 other camera people that are going to have to do essentially the same thing. So it's going to be shot like that, field, obviously interview, Bigfoot Odyssey style, but more as soon as these guys come in, guys, girls, they're going to have to sit down and interview. So anything that happens is going to be fresh on them. They're going to be emotional about it, excited about it, rather than telling it months later or weeks later. They're telling it right then, and then being able to use what they captured in the field to show everyone, hey, this is what happened. So that's essentially how it's going to be done. There will be split screen action, just because we're filming from different angles and aspects.
You say in there about about the the end game. What everybody wants really is to see this Bigfoot thing, but this is about the journey. The journey is everything.
Yeah.
And even if you don't get to where you want to be, this is going to be a really good documentary on how you tried to do it. Even if you don't get that shot, I'm sure you will, because it sounds like that's the best place to go. But still, it's not all about that. And it's the same as the scenarios. You must have like 1,001 scenarios that you've considered. But I know lots of people are focusing on what you're going to do if it attacks or, those. But there's so much involved that people don't realize just how much responsibility as well to get everything right. And, I just want to say thanks, Colette Millette, who went to St. Bernadette's school. I'm sure she lives near a laundrette. She's not told me this yet. And she likes baguettes. I don't know. I wanted to. So, Colette, please. And thank you. Ed, where is it? It's gone. Can't have gone. It's here somewhere.
Yeah.
It's here somewhere. Thank you so much. I will. She'll love it. I might get her a shovel.
Not digging. Get her a shovel. Absolutely.
Get her a shovel.
You couldn't be more right about the journey. For me, it is. It's very personal for me. Though the core of this is, and the purpose for it is to try to get more people interested in what's actually going on out there, that it's going to be convincing for them. But it was not important to me in choosing the people that went so much their abilities or their acumen or their skills in a particular area. These people are skilled, but what was more important was their integrity and their character, because that's what's going to sell this. And then it's unfortunate that we have to sell the truth, but that's the state of the Bigfoot subject. But it was important, the type of person that's going to do this, because they're the ones that are going to be highlighted in this as much as the evidence or whatever else we happen to capture. I think we'll get good evidence. We've seen footprints out of there just recently that Jimmy Barr got, and it was very encouraging, just like 40 yards from the main office. It was very close. So it's that you're right. You're absolutely right. Look, this comes down to the people doing it.
Yeah, there's just so much to it. Got a question from Zach. Kerry, do you think this will grow and go overseas as well?
I hope so. I really do.
What's your UK following on YouTube? Do you know what percentage?
Yeah, I think it's like 20, close to it, 18.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, 70% US, and then UK, and then Australia, New Zealand, and then I think
it's in Australia then, with an Australian accent.
Australia.
Yeah.
Australia, mate.
If anyone's got any questions about the expedition, and if you've got any burning thoughts about what might happen, or the logistics of it, well, is anybody flying from anywhere apart from Brandon, if he is coming?
Christopher Noel.
Right.
Todd Cummings was flying. I think he's going to drive now. I think that's it. I think just Chris.
And Larry's not going. Larry's not going.
Larry can't make it.
Can't make it, right?
The problem is it's done. It's not like a Friday to Friday deal. It's like midweek deal we're going. I'm trying to give too much away. Not that it really matters at this point, but he couldn't swing it with work and getting off. So he's disappointed obviously about it, and we really wanted him to go, but he'll be there in spirit. We do have Barry Browning, one of the Bigfoot outlaws, used to be a Bigfoot outlaw, and very, very few actual researchers. Like I said, when it came down to it, it was a matter of not that I'm digging on anyone's integrity, but what's as important as the film itself is the way these people carry on after the film, because that's what's going to lend validity to what we're doing now. And there's so many researchers out there that discredit themselves with some of the things that they say, and it's unfortunate. But I made sure the ones that I did choose, that I had a lot of input from the team leaders about them. Some input, I say a lot, some input from some of the members on New Orleans, but I had to look at who they were and what they've done and the way they present the subject, because we've got so much in it at this point, not just time and money. I'm so emotionally invested in this now that I can't, there's no way to not do it.
No,
this has to be done.
I think you've gone for skill sets as well, more than anything, haven't you? Because I think if you strip away the researcher title, we're all kind of researching this, aren't we, in our own way? And we've as much information as the other man or woman down the road. So this is more, I think, about you've picked people that have got skills there that are, it's not about Bigfoot, about being able to perform out there and bring something useful to
right.
What you're doing.
People with life experience that are not going to stand in the face of something growling in the bushes and run away. That's what we've seen time and time again, or see something from a distance and not want to get any closer to it. Or I've seen many videos where people are going out to do this and they hear a yell in the distance or hear a tree knock pretty close by, and hey, I think it's time for us to go. That's not what we're doing here. We're going in wherever they are. Obviously we have strategies. We're really going to try not to give ourselves away, though I think these things are so smart. The good thing about this place is a lot of people visit it, and I think these creatures are used to being around people and not being noticed. And because if you're not aware, you're not looking for this, and they're so hard to see anyway. They embed themselves so much into the environment, and that like Mark Melanie's asked you, 6 years. They've got some good stuff, but they're few and far between. They had to get to a place where they were getting this Pavlovian response, bringing these apples and for years and putting out there to where when they drove up, these things were coming and getting into place, and they're filming them in the exact same places. Some incredible images he got here recently. If anybody wants to see them, I'll send them to you. You can email me, bigfootodyssey@gmail.com. Email Daniela. She forwards me a lot of emails. Daniela gets a lot of emails that say Kerry, the very first thing. So
I just send them to you.
I know.
And then you used to reply to them by just replying to me, didn't you?
I did.
I did. It's like
that was my acumen with email there shining through. Learned a lot since then.
It's all fun. Hi, Johnny Biggs. Hello, High Water. Love the journey. Thank you for that. Someone had a couple of questions up here. Oh, here we go. Ed again, are you still lacking any particular skill sets?
I don't know. I don't think we are. I think we've got a pretty solid team, much better than we had before. Not that we didn't have a good team last time, but I think the team we had last time is better now. After going through what we went through, that's kind of what I mean. I think once we really get there, if something comes up that we can't handle, then we'll know we're missing a particular skill set. But nothing that I can think of, and I've been thinking about this for a while. So I've had 3 years of this in my head.
Yeah. So I've just seen something here. Jean Bomber is sadly nursing a broken heart. She had to say goodbye to her 20-year-old cat a few weeks back. So she's probably going to be popping back again soon in chat. But yeah, she'll probably appreciate some messages and love and stuff. We had one here from Squatch Talk. Do you think you'll get a visit from the States since you filed your position via permits?
I don't know. We really can't worry about that, Patrick. That's one of those things that if we worry about it, it's just one more thing we can't control. I think we need to worry about the things we can control and maybe prepare for a scenario like that best we can. I know everyone that's going is going to be legal in every way. It was paramount that everyone knew. Be legal no matter what. If you're bringing a weapon, make sure you are legal to carry it. Open carry, conceal, whatever the law is. I don't know. I'm not bringing a weapon myself. I have one. It probably will stay in my truck though. But I have a permit for that to be in my truck. I'm not carrying anything in the woods. We've got people for that are legal. So we've made sure we've tried to cover that base as good as possible, that when we do meet with any potential resistance, we're not doing anything wrong.
I think Tom Paul Cajun has summed it up, what I was kind of trying to say. Kerry, you have some very qualified people. Even if you get nothing on film, the people you have are very credible and trustworthy. It will be successful. It will. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Certainly hope so, Tom.
We've seen other not attempts at what you're doing, but we've seen these shows, these documentaries, people going out trying to do it and simulate stuff happening. It's this is going to be totally different, totally unique in its own way.
Normally what you get is so condensed because people do go out for 2 or 3 days and then they make an hour, a 2-hour long video. This is going to be 2.5 hours per episode, 7 episodes. So you're talking 18 to 20 hours worth of stuff here. Now we are going to have to condense 24 hours into 2.5. It's still going to be relatively condensed, but not as much as what you normally get with finding Bigfoot or or the History Channel, Animal Planet, whatever those guys put out. I'm not saying that it's bad stuff. They get some pretty interesting things. What we're doing, I don't think is really much different, except it's a little bit more reality based than we're not going to be putting out anything fluffy to pad anything that we're doing. It's all going to be what you see is what you get. I will be narrating through the thing as little as possible. Hopefully the shots will help speak for themselves, but I will be doing some setups. I'm not going to be in it. I'm going to be behind the camera. But my voice will be in it. I'm the only one that I that I trust to do. Sorry. I don't know. I'd have to send footage with other people and them to do it. And I know how I want this to go in my head. So that's what I mean is that way. So I know I want to present this. And
Curious Critic says he's happy that a team will say they saw nothing if they don't. But I hope they do get something. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's just the reality of what you're doing and the reality of going out there, trying to, even with the best equipment and the best men and the best women and the best will in the world, you might not get any, there's possibilities you might not. These things, these creatures might be so far in front of us that we'll see, won't we?
Exactly. And the thing about this group is they've submitted themselves to nothing even remotely close to mediocrity. They're going to put everything they can into this. And I think that will be a good indicator of how difficult it is to catch the evidence of these creatures, that we can get enough to show that, yes, they're here, whether it be footprints, hair, vocalizations, images of them peeking at us through the woods, or hopefully catch one moving. That's the ultimate goal. It's hard to dispute those things. But because they've committed to doing that this way, I think it will show others why we haven't gotten anything good in so long, and the possibility of these creatures existing. So it's kind of going to go hand in hand that these guys, they have signed, are going to sign releases and an NDA, so they're not going to give away the location of where this is. This is someone's active research area. If we do catch all the ultimate footage, it could spawn something bad for their research. But everyone that's shooting in the field is going to own their own footage. The release that they're signing includes allowing me to use their footage in the film. It's going to belong to them, though. If Mark Newbill gets epic footage of one walking up to him and growling at him, that's going to be the Newbill footage. It'll belong to him. I'll just have the right to use it in the film. So that's another aspect of it.
Very transparent, though. I mean, we're going to say exactly. That's what we want, isn't it? So, well, I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I think the filming are you filming all the time you're out, aren't you? Basically.
Yeah. Well, that's why we chose the name. 168 hours is 1 week. We're going to start on a 6 a.m. one morning, and we're going to film 24 hours from multiple angles. Each part will be a day, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. The last part I'm going to reserve for all the best stuff we got, and the last expedition through the day. But it's going to reserve the best things we got. Prologues from everyone. A lot of interviewing aside from field work. So these guys are going to have to be able to come in and articulate what they've gone through the day, so we can be transparent about what happened. This is what happened right here, and it's going to be fresh on their mind. So I think it's at least going to be palatable. You're going to be able to watch it and hopefully enjoy the way it's put together.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting
if we get anything or not, which we're going to a good place. It's a good spot.
People like reality stuff, maybe not reality TV so much, but people like to be the fly on the wall, like to be there listening to the conversations that they're happening and all that. That's the fascinating thing. And I'm pretty sure anyone who's into this subject, that's all you're going to be talking about. So they're going to be interested. you know, and it'll just be good to see you, you know, actually in situ there, trying to work out what you're going to do. Because and I know you've got a plan together and everything. I just feel like once you're there, everything could change. I mean, there's just no guarantees, and so
True.
it's how you deal with it as well, isn't it? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you're going to do fantastic. Whatever happens. Who's nervous the most?
I think I am. Everybody else is chomping at the bit. They're ready. You know, I think it's me, and it's this internal struggle that I have, and I always use this analogy, you know, with the 2x6 board, a 2-inch board by 6-inch wide board, 12 feet long. You set it on the ground and you walk across it. You can walk across it fine. You take the same 2x6 and you raise it 100 feet in the air. Now it's the same 2x6. You know, your balance has to be no different. The difference is now all you're going to be thinking is don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. That's where I am. I think with going out there and anticipating there being one of these things behind every bush. And I'm trying to put this in everyone's head to think that way, to expect the unexpected, to try to expect it when you least expect it. Don't think just because you're not hearing or seeing anything that they're not there. We need to act like they're there the entire time behind every bush. That's where I am already, but it does have me churning. It does. And the closer we get, the more I churn. I'm doing my best. I just want to make a good film. I want to film these guys doing this and make it be worth watching. That's what I worry about more than anything.
So tell us about the drone then, and what it can pick up. And obviously you're going to have like vegetation and stuff there. So what is there going to be a chance that these things can still be hidden from you, or have you got the ability to really scan the place and get round corners or whatever you need to?
Well, with palmettos, they're thick, and you know, being on the ground, you have to see through all of them. You know, when you're in the air at this angle, you can pick up pieces and parts of things. So I think we'll be able to see heat signatures, even if it's just a part that we can go and check out exactly what it is. You know, if they're going to watch you, they have to put their face out there, or at least an eye. And the thermal that we have is really good. It was $4,400, I think, for just the camera, and then I had it put on, you know, a $1,700 drone. That I could, it's 10 grand for a good thermal drone at the cheapest. So having this put together this way, having a good camera on an okay drone, I think it was the best we could do at the time. But I think because we're going to be able to get that angle and not have to see through everything so much, and that we're going to be able to pick something up. The Bosun 320 thermal camera, it's not just thermal. There's also a camera on it, so you could get outline of things, and then you get the heat signature with it. I know someone mentioned not being able to see alligators on thermal, and for the most part, they're right. But small alligators, you really can't see that well. The big ones have been laying out in the sun all day. They absorb that heat. That's how they control their body temperature. You can see their outline, and you can see a little heat signature coming from them. There's a video on YouTube showing that. So you can see them. The bigger ones, the ones we're actually worried about, we'll be able to see. That's mostly what the drone's going to be for, is to do recon, to go out first and look before these guys go anywhere, and then bring it back, and then they'll go and do their thing that they're going to be doing. But it's from 800 feet up and still a good 1,000 yards out, I was able to see a cow and tell what it was.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, that's good.
It's that good.
It's top secret, but you'll know when it happens.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Pretty soon. Next month.
Sometime. And I'll be doing the updates here every night, hopefully.
If it's not me, it'll be someone at the camp.
Someone. Yeah, we'll set it up, and there'll be live updates here every night. So you'll have enough warning to know. Got one here. Kerry could do the Marlin Perkins mutual of Cork seems to be tangled up. Do you understand that? Cork seems to be tangled up in a mangrove root. Watch it cut.
All in part of mutual Omaha thing. Cork seems to be tangled up in mangrove root. Watch it, Cork. I think he's talking about himself. That fellow looks like he has love in mind. He says that because he mentioned that he would go and be bait.
I see.
No, we're not going to use anybody for bait. I'm not sure. I think we're all going to be bait. Honestly, I really do. I think they're going to want to watch us. I think they're going to follow us. The one time I went in this place by myself, I was followed and surrounded, and I could hear them. I could smell them. And I think if they're close enough, you can smell them. They're just too close. So we're we're not going to have smell-o-vision, but we will be able to explain what we're experiencing in the moment. That these guys will be talking to themselves. We got really good radios this time, better than last time. And the last ones weren't terrible, but they were advertised as working up to 36 miles. And they were 1 watt walkie-talkie radios. And I got 12 of them, I think. And this time I got 12 5-watt radios that say they work up to 100 miles. So I imagine 3 miles will be. And none of us are going to be that far apart. So we got good radios this time. We've got good filming equipment. I've got a camera slide for the interviews, so that's going to add another dynamic there. We're going to have an over-the-shoulder camera shot for interview, and then we'll have the one camera moving slowly back and forth, just to kind of, you switch back and forth and give that little bit of a dynamic to it. Just trying to make it visually palatable. Say that all the time.
Yeah. Something I remembered the other day, do you know when we had Mark Newbill on the researchers report a couple of weeks ago? We had Mark and I can't remember. Sorry, who we had. We had 2 guys on, didn't we? Clay, of course, yeah. And I was saying he put in sound recorders. What I meant to say was listening devices where you can
hear in real time.
Put it out and hear in real time. Yeah.
We've got two parabolics. So
right. What will you be listening to? How will you be able to distinguish stuff? I mean, I know light stuff and heavy stuff, but it's just going to give you an idea, is it?
It comes down to knowing the animals in the area and the sounds that they make, and being able to decipher between what we think. I'm hoping to catch a conversation. That's what I want, because I've heard that before. Mark Zaski and I were walking in. Melanie's 40 feet behind us. We're coming down this levee, and no cameras going, nothing. It's one of those learning moments, to always be filming. When we get there and we hear it, and I do this, and people laugh at it every time I do it, but I'm going to do it again for you. Right across the canal, 30 feet away, at least. Like this talking. It was talking. And this is in the middle of essentially nowhere. There's nobody over there. It's in the bushes. So I'm hoping to catch something like that again. So being able to take I got a monopod, zip tie it to a tree with a Zoom H4n recorder plugged into the lavalier mic with the dish and a battery pack, and my air conditioner just kicked on, and have it pointing out in somewhere that we can leave out for 12 or 13 hours just to listen to what's going on. So we have that capability now with the extra. There's going to be a team member carrying one of these also, this monopod telescope, so they can hold it up high, down low. We're going to be recording video, audio the entire time. So while we're calling it 168 hours, there's going to be an hour count in the corner of the screen. And I'm sure I'll be saying, hour 26, the teams discover whatever, So that's the whole basis of the 168 hours title, and the subtitle being A Bigfoot Odyssey. And we got wristbands coming. We're going to be giving those away free of charge. It says 168 hours on one side and A Bigfoot Odyssey on the other. And I'm having t-shirts made also, just to give away.
Cool. I'm not sure what he means, but the red. Kerry considered doing something similar and have the rest hand back with the heat drone high. I think we might have missed a bit of. We might have missed it when you posted that. Doing similar to what? Sorry. There was a question here about, hi Tracy, will there be filming back at the camp all the time?
Yes. Constant, because the whole thing about interviewing and with so many people is while the teams are out, there's going to be interviews conducted at the camp. There's going to be one of the only things that hasn't come in yet is the Psionics night vision camera. It also shoots during the day, but I'm going to set that up on a tree static at camp to be filming in one direction the entire time. So there's going to be that view. There's going to be many views of what's going on at all times in the camp and in the field. So yes, Tracy.
Cool. Andy gone fishing. How you doing? Kerry, seen many boas in that area? You think these things mess with boas? Andy would. He'd be getting it on the barbecue before you know it. Honestly, if it moves, he'll eat it.
This is how you cook boa. This is how you cook boa. Florida's full of these released pet snakes that have ended up breeding out there, pythons and boa constrictors. But the thing about this place, there just doesn't seem to be very much wildlife. Not many hogs, not many deer, not many snakes. I have a good reason to believe that it has something to do with these other creatures in there. So we're gonna expect those things, whether we run into them or not. We'll try to prepare for them. I don't think there's a boa out there big enough to take one of us down with 3 other people around or 4 other people around. So I don't worry about them in that aspect. I think that anything out there is going to run away from us, including boogers.
Scary. Strange John says Squatch, use them as a belt. To keep the suits up or whatever.
Orange juice.
Oh.
Water, orange juice, all I've drank. I've been working out like a madman.
Have you finally kicked the Dr. Pepper? Have you finally kicked the habit?
Yeah, it's completely gone. And the old guns are coming back. I feel good physically. I think I'm going to be all right. I know I've lost weight. I have no idea how much I weigh right now, but I was at 255 at one point. I'm, a relatively tall person. So it was spread out, but I wasn't looking good. Felt a lot better.
Who's the fittest? I think Clay's pretty fit, isn't he?
Clay's pretty fit. He's been driving for a while, though. I don't know. I might have him beat now. Mark Kinchell's lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
Since last time. I think he's 56.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So he's gotten himself in shape. These guys they're ready. They're prepared. I'm just trying to get myself ready and prepared. I work 12 hours a day at my job, and there's pipes everywhere on the ground. So every time I get out, every hour I get out of my truck just to walk around and do readings, and I'll just do 25 push-ups right there. Do 25 push-ups, or I'll find a heavy piece of iron and try to work. Back of the arm, trying to get built up, back up where I was, and I'm getting there.
Good.
Not there yet.
Max worries about the hogs.
I agree.
I'm not gonna be able to say that right. I know who it is though. But hogs will be on the menu. Hogs will be on the menu if that's the case. Will they?
That was a discussion, and I kind of got on them about it because what was concerning me is that these guys were thinking something else, and I want them focused on what we're doing. Now, one person, I'd be worried that hogs would come in, but with 3 or 4 people, they're probably going to run away. There's a good chance that we might get drawn in, but we've got protection there to shoot, and if we have to scan out a hog, then you'll see it. It'll be on film.
How long do you think it's going to take you to edit this footage and break it down into 7
months?
7. Well, obviously it's daily, isn't it? But it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot to 24 hours.
So many devices to go through is the thing. And then that's why labeling is going to be important of how we upload everything, and that everything is got the correct time, the same time stamps on sorry. But yeah, I'm going to have to go through everything by the day. I'm just going to go through what we captured for that day, the interviews, what goes together will be put together. It's going to be presented in a linear fashion, chronologically from the time we start. This is what happened in time. There'll be no skipping, no backtracking unless it's an evidence thing that we might backtrack to for a moment. And then, but just keeping things going forward from when we start to when we finish will be the main focus for me in post while I'm sitting there editing. But just having to go through everything by the day, it's going to take months to do. So I'm thinking by fall, we'll be putting this out, and we'll put out an episode a week. And it's going on the channel for free. I've pretty well decided no ads are going to go in it. I may put one in the beginning and maybe one at the end, so you can just kind of skip through the one in the beginning just so we can get a little something out of it. But I pretty much came to the conclusion that if we make any money off this at all, it's going to undercut what we've done. And that can't even be remotely considered. So it's going to be free for everyone.
Ramil Acosta, Filipino survivalist. Sounds interesting. Kerry, do you have an idea where the quarry may retreat if they get spooked? Are there caves or crevices in the area?
No, there's no caves that I know of. You know, it's Florida. A lot of it is below sea level, just a couple of feet, but it's either at or below sea level. So I'm not sure there are any caves, but where they go is anybody's best guess. It's not like they're going to be able to get away from us. You know, when I say it's close quarter and they're in there, is they can't travel 20, 30 miles away and be somewhere else. They're going to be in there somewhere. And we're going to try to do our best to get them to come to us initially. And when we know they're there, we'll do our best to try to catch them on film. Simple as that. I know it sounds simple. It's going to be extremely difficult and hard to do. But we're not running away. If we're confronted, things are thrown, we're going in. Someone has to do this. That's what I feel anyway.
Maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's what they've always been wanting when they're throwing the stones and the things. Maybe they're saying, hey,
we're going to walk right into their trap. Here we come. Say cheese.
Would you take a mirror out there? Has anyone done any experiments with mirrors? Do you know?
Guy in East Texas had a mirror out. He's the one that caught the fence climber that MK Davis presented. One of the best Sasquatch images I think that you'll ever see. This thing looks skinny, but it's tall. This thing's 8 feet tall. And you see it step over the fence, and you see the huge foot and the long legs, and you see MK Davis stand by the same fence, and it's up to here on him, you know, and this thing just steps right over it. Plus, I think you see it running on all fours coming to the fence, you know, real low. And then you see this apex head, and this thing steps over the fence. That place, he had a mirror out, and I think that was actually captured in the mirror where he was aiming the camera at the mirror, and it captured him. But they got several things in that place. That was in East Texas. I don't want to say exactly where. I'm sure they wanted to keep that a secret, but MK told us when we did interview with him, because I mentioned that particular video. So yeah, it has been done. I'm not a Bigfoot researcher. I mean, I would probably try all those things. You know, we just tell other people's story a different way than anyone else, I guess, has ever done.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can. In somewhere in South Africa, I think they set up a huge mirror in the forest to see what how the monkeys would react. And it's probably not on this one. This is just an example. But when they slap the ground, you could think it was like a tree knock or something. I don't know if they'll slap the ground, but like I say, they're so loud.
I think he's a little confused.
Yeah.
Look over behind the mirror. Okay, where did you go?
I mean, some of them end up slapping it, and I mean, you know, I'm surprised they never break it. It's a shame they didn't show them when they smack the ground. It sounds like a tree knock. I mean, it's so loud.
I've heard when I was out in that area for 7 years, I heard something thumping on the ground. I would hear it all the time, loud, like, and feel it. Thump. Had no idea what it was. I'm thinking there's a rabbit on a stump over here because a rabbit will do that. They'll thump their foot on the ground. That he's sitting up on a stump, you know, and it's going through the ground. Might have been that. I don't know. But knowing what was out there now, I'm more apt to believe that it was them for whatever reason doing that. I believe that they tried to run me out of there plenty of times. Just come crashing through the woods and then stop. But I was too dumb to know what was going on and had no idea until I saw what it was. And then it all came together then.
Yeah. What other little things do you think you know now that you didn't pick up on before?
Well, I was suspicious that there were people out there around at times because I would hear talking, mumbling 40, 50 feet back this way. And I would yell, hey, you know, in my mind, somebody's walking down the road, the worst logging road you'd ever want to drive down. It was hard to get a four-wheeler through. But this is, in my mind, this is what's going on, is they're doing this. But I would hear that, I don't know, occasionally I did hear that. Knocking, I heard all the time. I would hear knocking as soon as I pulled up. But it kind of sounded like it's coming from the direction of the house. Could be traveling through the woods. Someone's knocking on something around here. But what didn't really register was that it was just a few knocks. It wasn't like someone was building something. It'd be 4 or 5 knocks, and then 45 minutes later, 2 or 3 more. And then there would be 2 or 3 more, you know, later on. It just got so used to it. But I could go to this one place with a Primos can call, which is a doe bleat. It's just a can. You turn it over and it goes, bah.
Yeah.
It's got a little thing in it. And now that's what I would do. Bah, bah, like that. That's the way a doe sounds, essentially. It's a locator thing. You'll hear does bleat back at you. Well, this is when I would hear this crash coming through the woods almost every time I did it. It happened so much that I never saw what it was, that when it started, I knew I wasn't going to get to see it. And I think there might have been a few times that I got down and tried to sneak in, but it was so thick. There's just no way it was doing. But in my mind, it was a buck. And he was upset that this doe, excuse me, was not coming to him. But this is breaking limbs. And, you know, bucks just don't do that. You know, even if they are upset, they may hook on something and blow and whistle, but I never heard that. So I think that was them trying to scare me out of there. The only 2 real reactions I ever got out of them, I was calling both times. But I knew they were reacting to me, looking back.
Mm. They must have thought, God, he's got some nuts on him, and he.
Well, you know, when I first saw the thing, I waved at him. What do you think he thought about that? That might have been the crux of the whole thing. This son of a gun's gonna what? Yeah. You know, easy to laugh at now, not so much at the time.
Obviously, yeah. This interesting, a 2-way mirror with a camera behind. Do you think that would stop the infrared showing?
I don't know if so much that they can see infrared. Maybe they can. You know, I don't think they could see any infrared any more than we can see a flashlight beam in certainness. You know, you see what it's shining on, and maybe that's what they see. I don't know. They, you know, I know if you look at an infrared camera, you can see those red lights flashing out. You can't see the beam. You know, I've often theorized that there's something going on with the hair that just doesn't reflect. You know, why do we see anything? Light reflects off of it. And that's the way these cameras work, is this infrared light comes out, it hits something that's moving and reflects back to the camera, it breaks that beam, but it has to reflect back or it's not going to go off. I thought, well, hey, if their hair absorbs light, it's not reflecting. So they could be walking in front of it all the time and it never go off. There was a good indication of that from Survivor Man. He put these apples up on this tree and had this camera. Well, it would go off because a bug or something would fly by and you'd see the apples, and one time it comes on and the apples are gone. Explain that, so that helped explain it to me in my mind. I could be 1,000% wrong. It's just a theory, something to think about. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care what they do, what they are, when we talk about these things. All I care is that they are, and people understand and know this, that there are these things out there, these creatures that could be around you. Just be aware that it's possible. That's all we want. That's the best I think we can do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if we haven't drummed up enough awareness the last few years, I don't know who has. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. There was another one. Does a simple video camera that is running constantly generate infrared? Well, that might not be an issue now, even if it was, but that's an interesting point. It probably wouldn't, would it? It would just be running. But how do you power these things all the time? That's the other thing, isn't it? Everything needs batteries. Everything needs replacing at some point. Any more questions before we're nearly a couple of minutes done? Hopefully this won't happen, Andy. But they can all be there. They just
probably me. I think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I see like Remiel Costa said, if they encounter any interference from authorities, it would be self-explanatory. It would confirm a hidden agenda somewhere. Yeah, that's what I think. Even if we told them what we were doing and they said, well, there's nothing like that out here, then I'll just say, well, then you don't mind us looking for nothing then, do you?
Yeah, generator, that'll won't make a noise, will it? But good idea, maybe back at camp. Guys, if we have come to the end of the hour. It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. Thank you, Kerry.
You're welcome.
It's been interesting learning a little bit more about, how the brain's ticking and what's going on up there. And, as we're getting closer, even though we're not close, but we're close-ish. I'm not going to say anything else.
Enjoying the conversations where I'm not talking about this right now. So thank you to those who are contacting me and talking about something else.
Well, we were going to do Anything Goes tonight, and I said we'll do a little bit about the expedition, then we'll go on to some fun questions. But
sorry,
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's interesting, and people want to know what's going on. So it's all good. So we'll be back on Wednesday night on the Researchers Report on Bigfoot Odyssey, and I'll be back on Saturday here with Jay for the Bigfoot Cafe. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to all the mods. Hope everyone has a good week. And until the next time I see you, good night.